The Merge Geoprocessing tool in ArcGIS Pro is available on a basic license and can be found in the Data Management toolbox in the General toolset. The Merge Geoprocessing tool combines multiple input datasets into a single new output dataset, and we can combine point, line, or polygon feature classes or tables. Now there is one caveat that all input feature classes must be of the same geometry type. In our examples, we are going to merge several point feature classes and we'll also merge a couple of polygon feature classes. We'll go down and check out the parameters. We have our input datasets. This is a list of datasets that will be merged into a new output dataset. We can set the output dataset name and location, and this will be where all combined input datasets are merged into a single output dataset. Then we have some optional parameters for field mapping, adding the source information to the output, and field matching mode. And we'll take a look at these optional parameters in the example. So let's head over to ArcGIS Pro and take the Merge Geoprocessing tool for a spin. In my map, I have 26 layers that represent the points for the National Inventory of Architectural Heritage in Ireland, and I want to merge these all into one feature class. Now if I open an attribute table, I'll just pick Kildare, open the attribute table, the schema for all 26 is identical. That is, they contain the exact same fields, and all these fields will be transferred to the merged feature class. I'll close the attribute table. Open the ribbon, I'm going to Analysis, and I'm opening Tools, which opens the Geoprocessing pane. I'm going into the Data Management Tools toolbox. And down in the General toolset, we will find the Merge tool, which I'm going to open. My input data sets are going to be all 26 of my point layers. I'm going to click the down arrow beside the input data sets and click the checkbox beside search, which will select all layers in the map. But I need to remove two layers. I have electoral division boundaries and county boundaries that are polygons, and I am trying to merge all the point data sets. I'll click add, and all 26 are added as the input data sets. Now how these are listed here does matter. The Wicklow points are going to be added first, and then Wexford, Westmeath, and so on. If I scroll down, I'm going to set my output dataset to be in my default file geodatabase, and I will call it Merge Example Points. And I have three options here for field matching mode. I can automatically generate fields consolidated from all outputs, use the field map to reconcile field differences, or use the schema of the first dataset only. Now because I know the schema is the exact same for all 26, I'm going to use the first option to automatically generate fields consolidated from all inputs. I'm also going to select this Add Source Information to Output, and I'll click Run. Our merged dataset has been added to the map. If I right click and open the attribute table, I can see that it has merged 43,317 records across the 26 original layers. The schema has been maintained, and we can see the source of each feature. The merge source field has taken on the name of the layer in the map. Down a good bit, we can see Limerick. I go again, we can see that these came from Cork. I'll close the attribute table, and I'm going to turn off all my point layers. Now I have two polygon layers that I wish to merge into a boundaries dataset. I have my county boundaries and I have the electoral divisions. I'm going to open up the attribute tables for both of these layers. I'll open up the county boundaries, and I'll open up the electoral divisions, and I'll move the electoral divisions up so we can see both at the same time. For our county boundaries, we have a few fields here. We have English, that represents the English name of the county, Gaeilge, that represents it in Irish. Then we have County and county again. So the data from English and Gaeilge has been duplicated. In our output, we just want county and County. If we take a look up at the electoral divisions, we have ED English and ED Gaeilge. we have County English and County Gaeilge. So our County English could match on to our County Boundaries County field. So these two fields here. And our County Gaeilge could match on to our Conte field from the county boundaries. So let's handle this while we merge these data sets. I'll close the attribute tables. I'll click back on geoprocessing and I'll reopen the merge tool. Now, as mentioned, it does matter how the input data sets are listed. I want to use my county boundaries first because I want the county boundaries to go into the output data set first. And then I want the electoral division sitting on top. Otherwise, I'd have the county boundaries obscuring the electoral divisions, even though the electoral divisions are going to obscure the county boundaries. I'll name my output as Merge Polygon Example. And from the field matching mode, this time I'm going to select Use the field map to reconcile field differences. I don't want to keep English or Gaeilge. I'm going to delete those with the X over on the right here to remove. I'm also going to remove County English and County Gaeilge from the electoral divisions. Now I'm going to go up to Conte and I'm going to click this Edit Field Properties. And we can see that County Boundaries has 1 here and electoral divisions has 0. I'm going to click Electoral Divisions and I want the County Gaeilge to match to the County Boundaries Conte field. I'll click OK. I'll do the same with County. I'll click the pencil. I'll click Electoral Divisions and I'll click on County English and click OK. I'm going to run this tool. Our output has been added to the map. I'm going to right click and open the attribute table. And we can see the fields that have been set for this merged feature class. We have Conte, County and Province that came from the County Boundaries dataset, and we have ED English and ED Gaeilge that came from the Electoral Divisions dataset. I'm going to open up the original attribute tables for County Boundaries. We can see there are 26 records, and if I open up for Electoral Divisions, we can see there are 3,420. Now if I go back to our output, you can see we have 3,446, which is the sum of records from both the data sets. If I scroll down past the 26th feature, we can see we now have the electoral division boundaries. Both Conte and County have been populated as we matched these fields from the electoral divisions to the county boundary fields. There was no province information for electoral divisions, so they are null, and they maintained the ED English and ED Gaeilge attributes. I'll close down these attribute tables. I'm going to turn off all layers in my map. I'm going to run the merge once more. I'll click back. I'll open the merge tool. And this time I'm going to select the Polygon feature classes from the FileGeo database. I'm first going to select the county boundaries. I'm also going to add in the electoral divisions. I'll leave the output data set by default there. I won't touch the field matching. This time I'm going to turn on the add source information to output. Now remember when we did it for points, it took the layer names. We'll see what happens this time now that we're using feature classes from a FileGeo database rather than the layers in the map. I'll click run. The output has been added to the map. I'll right click and open the attribute table. And I'll scroll across to the merge source field. And we can see that this time it has added the full path to the data set rather than adding it from a layer. Now if we take a look at the data in the map, we can see the electoral divisions. I'll highlight a county boundary and we can see we have Kildare there. I'll zoom out a little. We have Waterford and we have Dublin. So the electoral division boundaries are sitting on top of the county boundaries. Merge does not dissolve polygons. It simply takes those features and adds them to a new data set.